but we're going to talk about emotional eating and sugar cravings today, and we're going to be talking about the feeling that you have. Think about every single time that you're stressed out. What do you do? Do you reach for a favorite snack? Do you deal with stressed out? What do you do? Do you reach for a favorite snack? Do you deal with the stress healthily? What do you do when you're stressed out and you're overwhelmed and you're upset? Majority of eat a little bit of this, also causing you to build yourself up with toxins, because the foods that you eat that have these processed foods that you love, because the foods that you eat that have these processed foods that you love and that you crave all the time and that are your comfort snacks, you don't realize these toxic ingredients before I eat it all. I'm not going to eat all these cookies. And then you look and there's only this much left when you just open the bag. That's the sign that should be telling you, I didn't have any receptors in my body to tell me when to stop. I didn't have anything telling me, hey, I'm a little bit full. And you don't realize that what is happening inside of your body is that there's a chemical imbalance, because your body should be telling you when you're full. Your body should be telling you when it's enough. You shouldn't be sitting there, most importantly, using food to cope with what you have going on when you're upset and when you're stressed. And especially sugar, which throws off your internal balance. And so as you're not realizing that, you are empowering this whole concept of not being consciously aware of what you're consuming. You will realize that you have been restricting yourself from the health and the healing that you deserve. And you'll understand that, most importantly, it's time for you to take control. And when you take back that control, it makes you feel like not only do you not have to restrict the foods that you want, that you love, but you'll also realize that you view them in a different light and you have a different mindset towards healthy eating and living a lifestyle of taking care of yourself. Because I was once a person that was stressed out, that didn't know how to take care of my body, that was using food to cope, using food as a way for me to get through the day and to make it through the night and to make it to the next day. And emotional eating is directly tied to what we have going on with our health and our society right now, when you really break it down and you look at it. When you sit there and realize that we are not craving foods just because, they're giving me nutrients and comfort, but rather just because it's filling my stomach and I feel comforted, you'll start to understand the emotional eating that we're all tied under. That society teaches you when you go through a breakup, when you're having a hard time, you know what it's time for you to do? I know, let me go and get some ice cream and go cry and go get some cookies and go cry or be sad, watch a sad episode or binge watch and eat all day. When in reality, the stress, one, is temporarily if you would deal with it correctly. But two, this whole momentary feel good is temporary. So you feel good now. You feel good in that moment. But are you going to feel good in 10 to 15 minutes after you eat all the whole bag? Are you going to feel good tomorrow when you eat all this junk? Are you going to feel good within an hour if you eat this midday? No, you're not. And you know why? Because your blood sugar is not regulated. You're throwing your blood sugar into a roller coaster with all of these snacks. And people don't realize this, that when you're eating these sugary, highly processed foods, when you're sitting there consuming all of this junk all the time, every single time you get stressed out, every single day to get yourself to relieve from stress when you're dealing with work, every single day of you sitting here doing the same thing, you're throwing your body into a chemical imbalance of insulin resistance. And you don't realize that this is giving you this little short burst of energy of okay, I got a little sugar rush like you see in kids often. But you don't realize that your body is not using any of this as nutrients. It's not using it as any way to actually get fueled. So that's the reason why as soon as you eat, right after you feel fatigued, you feel the itis, you have to take a nap. You sit there and you feel like you can't do anything else and you're no good to the world afterwards because you're not getting any nutrients. You're just filling your stomach. You're not fueling your body. The majority of society does not realize that you are sitting there expelling more sugar. And so that's the reason why, especially after you eat a meal, you're sitting there, or you eat a snack and you're like, I need more sugar, I need this, and you're expelling all the sugar because your body's trying to get rid of all the toxic sugar. But then it's craving more sugar to put in because you use this sugar, the correct amount of sugar, to convert into energy. Your body is supposed to convert sugar into energy, but that's the natural sugar. All non-natural sugars get recognized as your body as a way okay, that's too much, that's too much. So it starts expelling. That means your body's working quicker. That means your body's working harder. That means your body is sitting there expelling at an excess rate. That's how you get into insulin resistance. And a lot of us are not understanding this. Majority of us do not realize this because we're not taught these things. And so as you sit there and expel all of this sugar at a rapid rate because your body is trying to balance, which it won't on its own, you are going to crash. You are going to suffer. You're going to be worse off feeling than what you did when you started eating this way. When you started to feel like you needed to help yourself calm down and stress and get de-stressed, so you started eating your favorite snacks. And food becoming a coping mechanism is not a healthy way for you to deal with anything that's going on. That's a way for you to overeat, not truly support yourself. So that means you're holding on to the stress, which that means you're internally stressed and externally stressed. And you're also not realizing the fact that when you are doing that to your body, you're doing yourself a disservice because you're not sitting there having a discerning thought, which is going to allow you to consciously consume. Because I'm not saying you never eat your favorite snack. You never have any comfort meals. But what I'm saying is too many people do this every single day, every single week, every single month. Not realizing that they don't do it with moderation of, okay, I only do this about once a month, so it's not that big of a deal. But they do it every single week. They do it every single day, which throws off your chemical balance and making you insulin resistant. It's also making you stressed out internally. How did I transition to plant-based? We will get more into that in just a second. In just a second, I'll give you more into that. We're just, opening it up and getting in there because I do have like my key points, and we'll get into that. I feel like probably the next half of this, just give me like 2 minutes and I'll answer that. It'll really get into it. Thanks to the follows. And so statistics themselves just give us a big, broad understanding of what the world is looking like right now currently, because studies show that emotional eating can lead you to 25% of an increase in your calorie intake. And I used to be a person that had to calorie count because at the end of the day, if I wasn't calorie counting, I was over consuming. And when I was calorie counting, I was hating it. And now here I am. I've been plant-based for 4 years and I do not calorie count. I haven't calorie counted since before I started. I didn't calorie count during the beginning. I haven't calorie counted now 4 years in. I hate calorie counting. I hate doing all of that extra stuff. It does not feel authentic to me. And so all of the years of me sitting there doing all the same thing of eating too much, over consuming, having weight fluctuation, and not being able to be overall healthy, even though I was super active, it threw me off and it confused me. And that's what made me start to do research and to learn more and to understand that, like, what in the world is this pattern that I'm going down of doing everything that everybody's telling me to do, of do this calorie count, track it on the MyFitnessPal, and eat this way, and try this diet, and do all these different things, and not getting any actual real results. And I know there's so many people out here that feel the same of, I'm doing what you're telling me to do, I'm not getting the same results. You telling me to eat this in moderation, I'm not getting results. You're telling me to do all this and I'm not getting results. Yet I'm following the same path and you tell me this is the way for me to go. And I'm here to tell you that this diet culture and what society is teaching you what is normal is keeping us ill. It's keeping us in the space of not realizing that it's a pattern of being unhealthy, and it's a pattern of a roadmap to us having to have surgeries, us having to take prescriptions and medications for the rest of our life, having to depend on a doctor. And you don't have to take my word for that. Observe the world around you. When you look outside, and this is a statistic from either the FDA, I think the FDA and the CDC came together and had the statistic because they were talking about the medical industry and their profits. They were talking about the fact when you go outside and you count, out of every 3 adults, 1 of them is diabetic. Out of every 3 adults, 1 of them is diabetic. And now they're to the point where they're seeing more young adults and they're seeing more teens that are getting into the space of being insulin resistant, if not already having diabetes. And we're already that bad with adults out of every 3 of them having 1 of them being diabetic. So can you only imagine that if young adults and teens are about to start surpassing adults on that statistic, what it's about to look like for our society? And so we're truly not realizing that there's a pattern of us teaching each generation not know how to take care of their body, and teaching each generation how to poison themselves and how to be diabetic. Because that statistic alone right there tells you enough to say, well, how is everybody sitting here following diet culture, doing what they're supposed to be doing? If we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, what they're telling us to do, follow these my plates and these food pyramids. Yet we're the most unhealthy in the entire society, because this is just US statistics alone. And so it's really truly mind-blowing that we do not have any coping mechanisms to manage our emotional eating and to manage how to start actually living a healthy lifestyle and to get away from diet culture. And so the first thing you have to do for you to get away from the emotional eating and for you to step in the space of knowing how to take care of your body in a natural light is first getting into the space of being mindful. You have to get out of this space of, I will never be able to eat what I want to eat. I'll never be able to eat the foods that I love. Oh, I'm going to be suffering. Oh, I'm going to be starving. Get into the mind space of, how do I start eating correctly? How do I start supporting my body and my cravings? How do I make a discerning thought when I'm stressed out? You have to prepare. You have to have the mindset of, I want better for myself. I deserve better. And diet culture has not supported me. You have to be in the space of realizing that majority of us still eat like we're in slavery. And that's not just for the people of color in the chat. That's for everyone. People do not realize that we have these terrible habits, and it's because of the programming we have all gone through. And the next step, the next tip and the next step for you after you have got that space of being mindful and understanding, or at least just gaining the concept of, okay, I need change. Start to realize that Whole Foods will give you all the satisfaction and you will not be starving. You don't have to starve. It's the matter of what you are going to do and why you're going to do it that leads you to, okay, I don't have to cut anything out first. I need to start adding in real food. I need to start adding in foods that I'm going to enjoy. Start finding substitutes for the snacks that I love. Finding substitutes for the recipes that I love. Finding substitutes for dairy, for meat, and all these different things so that I don't have to cut anything out and starve and feel like I don't have anything to eat, but rather show myself how easy it can be to aim for real whole foods with fiber, with protein, with calcium, with vitamin A, vitamin D, all of these different things that your body needs to stabilize your blood sugar, stabilize your body's energy, and to give yourself everything you need to be flowing and flushed and feeling good with throughout your day. And so when you crave something, not saying necessarily you have to go raw plant-based, but when you're craving something like as simple as, okay, I want sugar and it's in the AM, why not reach for something that is actually going to give you natural sugars rather than it's going to give you a spike and then a crash afterwards? Why are you sitting there having to depend on coffee every single day? It's because you're not giving your body what it needs when it comes to nutrition. Why are you sitting there having to take Fiber One bars and take these supplements and get all these prescriptions? Because you're not giving your body what it needs. Because you're not mindfully and consciously eating. It's all fully connected, and you have to make the connections in order for you to heal your body from the inside out, for you to really deal with the issue. And so if you are somebody who is just now joining and you have not followed me, you're just now figuring out who I am, and you're just now learning about what I do and what I'm teaching, I do have all of my past lives posted on YouTube that will allow you to get started today for free. But if you are ready for accountability and you're ready for structure and you're ready for everything that I have to support you with, the strategies, the tips, the education, all of the things that I give you, I have a plant-based cookbook that will support you, as well as I have a program that you can opt in for the 6-week or the 12-week. The 6 weeks will only get you about halfway through, but it'll give you enough information for you to be started, be settled, and be ready. But the 12 weeks will get you all the way through Walk to 2025, completely prepared, completely set and ready, and sustainable habits that you will have for the rest of your life, like I will have, that I do have, and I will not be going back to the way that I was living before. Because before, addicted to sugar, before completely inflamed, before I went plant-based, I literally was sitting there not being able to have a discerning thought, because you don't realize the imbalance that sugar causes with your brain outside of just your dopamine. Sugar literally causes you to go insane. And there's so many studies that talk about and link sugar to Alzheimer's. And yet we're still sitting here arguing about the fact that sugar has no impact. Sugar's not going to affect you that bad. Sugar's okay in moderation when we're not eating in moderation because we're not releasing the sugars that we eat on a regular basis. That is toxic. Those are toxins. And so when you are overloaded with the sugar addiction of these processed sugars, you're not realizing the fact that just because it's stimulating your dopamine and it feels good, it's not helping you. Sugar stimulates your brain just like drugs. Just like the people on the street that are fiending and begging for money, the people that are on the side of the street that have no home because they don't care, because they don't even realize where they are. Your brain is the same way that those people are on the streets when you eat sugar. It gives you the feel good. In your hormones, it gives you that feel-good hormone. So that's the reason why you overconsume. That's the reason why you feel like you're instantly, you feel better, you feel good, but you don't realize you're addicted. And so when you're sitting there, you haven't had sugar for a couple of days, or you try to do a cleanse, now all of a sudden you're fiending. You're sitting there like, oh my goodness, I need some sugar. Oh my goodness, I'm hangry. I can't do this. I need a snack. And then you take it out on everybody around you. That's fiending. That's you literally fiending for sugar. You're addicted. And I'm saying this as somebody who was addicted to sugar. A lot of us don't realize it because we don't realize the impact that it has on our body. We don't see the signs it's telling you you're addicted to this because we think when you're craving something, it's okay. Feed the craving. And you don't sit there and have a discerning thought to be mindful to be like, where's this craving come from? Have I been eating sugar every single day at 8 o'clock? Yes, I have been eating sugar every single day at 8 o'clock. That's why at 8 o'clock every single day, I'm sitting there craving sugar. And by 8:30, if I don't eat anything sugary, I feel like I cannot do anything else. Because you have literally trained your brain to get that stimulation every single day at 8 o'clock. And I'm speaking as somebody who is a late night snacker that I have to stop myself. And I literally in June cut off all sugar. June was my month to fast. Only thing I had was sugar for fruits. I didn't even have my healthy snacks like I usually eat. Only thing I had was sugar for fruits. I just now started eating a little bit of sugar and I can feel already that I'm already starting to get imbalanced, and I have stopped and cut myself off. Because that's how serious it is with this whole stimulation of your brain with processed sugars. And so you have to realize sugar is terrible for you, and it causes a dependency, just like you depend on medications, supplements, you depend on everything else. How these people out here sit here and depend on different drugs. It causes a dependency in your body because that's how you feel good. That's what your brain tells you. I feel good when I eat this, so I need more. I feel good when I eat this, so I need more. We sit in front of the TV, we feel good because we get our feel good show on and we eat a good snack. I need more. And you never sit down and be like, why in the world have I gained all this weight? Why am I sitting here having anxiety and in and out of depression episodes, having panic attacks, not being able to have any mental clarity? I'm fatigued. Because sugar throws off your chemical balance, your natural balance of your body. The sooner you realize that, the better. And so the question that I have for all of you that are in the chat right now, how many of you feel like you have sugar cravings or you could possibly be addicted even when you're not hungry? Even when you're not hungry, do you crave sugar? You're just sitting there bored and you're like, I need something sweet. What is your go-to snack that you have for yourself? What is the thing that you go and you grab when you're sitting there craving it? Because I can tell you that, like, to this day, I'm 4 years plant-based and I still have cravings for me to get a little snack or sugar. I don't eat when I'm bored necessarily anymore, but when I'm sitting there and I'm like, ooh, this sounds so good, I have sugar cravings. You said all the time, it's ridiculous, you want candy. I've never been a candy person. I've always been a chocolate person. So like I had a friend who was a candy person and I was the chocolate person. So we would always come together and give each other, like, you know, you got some candy, I got some chocolate, here you go. And so how I got myself away from the space of eating all the chocolate like I used to, because I literally would go and get a candy bar, chocolate bar, boom, fine, crunch bar, boom, Hershey's bar, boom. I realized that instead of me eating all of this chocolate bar, all this chocolate candy, because it has so much sugar, most of it has dairy, like all of this different stuff, I stopped eating that. And I realized that the reason why I was craving all of this chocolate was because I didn't have enough fiber, magnesium, iron, all of these things, these cravings, you have to put 2 and 2 together and make the connection of the deficiencies that you have. And all of those were deficiencies that I had. When I started to gain all of these nutrients from the foods that I was eating, I stopped craving so much sugar. I stopped craving all that chocolate. And when I do crave chocolate, I give myself natural cacao. I make things with chocolate. I make plenty of different things with chocolate. And if you are in the space where you know that you overconsume sugar and you know that like you're addicted to sugar and you crave sugar all the time, you have to get your body reset. You have to get your body realigned, because a lot of us don't realize that. And the best way for you to get your body to realign, to crave the natural sugars that your body deserves, is for you to sit down with yourself and realize how many snacks you have in your home that you eat on a regular, constant basis that have processed terrible sugars, and replace them with natural sugars, natural options, more healthier options. This is how you get to the space of being comfortable with cleansing and detoxing. People can jump into the space of cleansing and detoxing and releasing and getting themselves flushed, but for majority of people, that's hard. For majority of people, that's uncomfortable. And so I'm here to help you get comfortable with the space. So the first thing I recommend, instead of getting rid of and diminishing, is replacing, finding alternatives. That's how you help yourself ease into the way of cleansing and resetting and releasing and helping your body and helping yourself get comfortable. So adding in more fruits in the AM. If you're a person that eats in the AM, if you eat as soon as you get up, you crave as soon as you get up, you drink coffee, put a fruit in there first. Eat some fruit first. Don't sit there and depend on something that is momentary, because you know how coffee goes. You drink your coffee, you crash. You drink your coffee, you don't get all of this. Satisfy your sweet tooth early in the AM without spiking your sugar by getting you some fruits. And if you're a person who is already insulin resistant or diabetic, learn how to balance yourself with the healthy fruits, with the sugars that you need from natural sugar, natural fruits, and pairing it with things like almond butter. They're going to help you stabilize, give you fiber. They're going to help you. Nuts, seeds, things like this, these are stabilizers. They're great to pair with fruits. They're great for cleansing. And this is a tip that I'm going to give you that is a really, really good freebie that I give in my detox and my cleansing bundle that I don't tell often. And I'm going to give it to you ladies that are here in the live, because I'm seeing a whole lot of women here right now. You pairing like in the AM before you start eating anything else, and pairing fruits, and you getting your nuts and your seeds like pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds, that's how you expel parasites naturally. So you don't have to do supplements, you don't have to do tinctures, you don't have to do all this other crap. That's how you expel it naturally. So then you don't have to sit here and buy all these different detox bundle, different things that they're selling you on TikTok to tell you get rid of all your parasites. You just ate your way into releasing parasites, simple and easy. Completely helped yourself. And that's at the beginning of your day. So not only are you giving yourself natural energy from the sugars that you're getting from the fruits, but you're also stabilizing your blood sugar. And then you're also expelling parasites. So you just combated 3 things right there that would have been an issue in your day if you would have started your day off with just a little bit of coffee. Incorporating different things inside of your lifestyle that are going to help you not only stabilize your blood sugar, but also get rid of those sugar cravings, are going to allow you to, I'm trying to think of the word, because it's like, it's going to trick your brain basically in a good way. And so I was telling my mom, and I'm going to tell you, this is another good tidbit, another little good tea for the women that are in here. Because like I said, we have a lot of women in here right now. If you are a person that craves a whole lot of sugar, and you know that like, ooh, I can make this in the morning. For instance, like I love to make myself a good tea. I use herbs. I do use herbs. And I tell everybody, for anybody that's in here that's like, ooh, I want to know about herbs, I do not recommend anybody use herbs if they are not eating for food as their medicine, using food as their medicine, eating correctly. Because you're not going to get everything that you need out of it. I'm not saying you don't do anything if you have any issues going on, but if you're not using food as your medicine, you are wasting your money and your time, because they're not going to be as potent. Thank you for the gift. I really appreciate it. And so this is an amazing, amazing way for you to release the sugar craving that you have, and to trick your brain into thinking you ate way more sugar than you actually did. I'm a person that loves to drink my teas, my herbal teas. And so when I drink my herbal teas, and I don't necessarily want to make it super, super sweet, even though I do use like natural sweeteners like agave or honey. I rarely use cane sugar, but every now and then I might sprinkle a little cane sugar. But If I want something that's giving me that sweetness and not actually having to overload a tea to make it super, super sweet, because I'm from the South, I love me some sweet tea, put cinnamon. Like, that's a good tidbit right there. If you're a person who loves sweet milk, like I love milk, and I love me some milk, like I could drink milk all day. I used to be that way, dairy milk. I drink now, obviously, I drink coconut milk, I drink almond milk, different type of alternative milks. I love to do milk, ice, cinnamon. Those are like my 3 combos that I go to. That, like, okay, I really want something, I have something sweet. Like, I just made a cheesecake the other day. Super easy, super simple. Oh, I love date syrup. I haven't had date syrup probably in about a month. I keep forgetting to grab it from the store, but I do love date syrup. Date syrup is so sweet. I don't like it too much in my teas just because date syrup has a taste. But like, sweeteners for everything else is absolutely delicious. And I don't hate it in my tea. It's just, it makes my tea taste different. But I absolutely love adding cinnamon into those little things that I love to sweeten, just to give myself that kind of response in my brain to make me think that I had more sugar than I actually did. And it's a great way to get rid of the sugar craving and to get your levels to balance. So if you are like me, I never liked apples. Apples were never really a big whole apples. Let me say that, whole apples. Apples were never my thing. I like sliced apples. Sliced apples are cool. My favorite form of apple was apple juice. Okay, I'm just gonna say that. But when I know that I need to eat apples, I need to be actually eating the apple. I'm like, okay, what do I do to pair this to make the apple taste better to me? I know, let me sprinkle some cinnamon on it. This is delicious, a good way. And then you can do something simple as you getting, a little date syrup on the side or something like that, dipping it in something, giving you something that makes you want to eat it. Because you have to get to that space of giving your body what it needs, but also feeding your cravings so that you crave this food more. You don't want to sit there and be like, oh, I don't like apples, and then sit here and try to eat an apple. You're never going to eat that apple again. Like, you're never going to want to do that again. You're not going to want to do that. Like, who wants to do that if you don't like apples? Why would you sit there and force yourself to eat an apple if you don't want to eat it? But when you make it in a light, in a space where you're like, this is actually pretty good, I could eat this, then you start to eat it more. You start to crave it. Because I can tell you, from somebody who went plant-based 4 years ago, I was not eating all of these fruits like I was before. Especially like when it came to apples, the only way I would get an apple was apple juice. I would never eat an apple of any other form unless I had a whole bunch of sugar or caramel or something to pair it with. But now I'm in the space where, like, I can go put me some air fried apples. I can go put some cinnamon on some apples, just chop them up, whatever else, chop them up, pair them with something that's like not terrible, and eat it. Pair with almond butter. Y'all are getting some freebies today, for sure. Y'all are getting some freebies today. Y'all are getting some good tidbits, because I'm just telling all the business. But I want you to understand that you can make things taste good. You can make them even taste sweet without actually sitting there putting your body in an insulin resistant state, without spiking your insulin and making you imbalanced. And so if you were in the space where you were like, I want something that I can crave and that I can satisfy my cravings and enjoy and take care of my body, thank you for the follow. I do have a plant-based cookbook that will support you if you are a beginner in understanding how to make plant-based meals and incorporating them and seeing how easy it can be for you to prep, for you to make the meals, for you to enjoy foods that are plant-based and see how much variety you can get from natural, real whole foods of fruits and vegetables, eating your nuts, eating your legumes. Because it's really, really easy. You just have to be open to breaking the cycle of doing what everybody else is doing, following the same patterns. Because this same pattern is leading everybody down the same path of being ill, being diabetic, being insulin resistant, having high blood pressure, having heart disease, having Alzheimer's. Because when you develop type 2 diabetes and you do not deal with it, it leads you to type 3. Type 3 diabetes, even though they say that they can't directly correlate it, but they sit there and have so many studies that talk about majority of the people that develop type 3 diabetes, and the same thing with their type 2 being undealt with, eventually lead to Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is directly affected by how much sugar you intake. Like, really make the connections. Really make the connections. These diseases do not run in your family. Everybody in your family does the same thing. Your peers do the same thing. Everybody has the same exact habits, and we pass them down generation. So this is the reason why your great-great-grandma all the way down to you have heart disease, have high blood pressure, develop cancer, all these different things. And we don't tie it together because society treats it and teaches us to treat it as something different. We treat it as, oh, this is different. This is unrelated. This can't be possibly happening because I ate this. When it's directly correlated between your habits and the food habits that you have and the habits that you have when it comes to the products that you use. This is how you give yourself cancer. This is how you give yourself high blood pressure, heart disease. You're 6 months plant-based, so how has that journey been for you? Has it been an easy journey or has it been difficult? Because I know a lot of people that like get to the space of being plant-based, they enjoy it, but they get hit stumbling blocks. And I know that I hit stumbling blocks in the beginning, and I was so grateful to say that like I didn't hit any stumbling blocks afterwards. I hit all of my stumbling blocks in the beginning, first like 3 months, like 2 to 3 months. And so I had to break the cycle and find the balance. And the balance that I found was incorporating small little different habits, making small steps, goodness, I can't speak, making little small steps towards the big lasting change that I needed. And so I found balance by making sure I didn't feel overwhelmed with the change, making sure that I was just supporting myself by, like I said, by not just cutting things out, but rather finding replacements first, introducing those in, and then slowly releasing the things that I no longer needed, and understanding that like creating the new habits allow you to have a healthy mindset around of it, which also in return allows you to live a healthy lifestyle, because your mindset has to be there. You can't sit there and eat this way for months on end and still be sitting there thinking in your head, oh, I hate this, I won't do this, this is gross. Because then one, either you're gonna be starving, or two, you're gonna eventually go back to the way you were eating, because you're gonna be like, I'm sick of this, I don't want to eat this anymore. You get around one person that eats meat and you're gonna be like, that just looks so good, I have to have it. You said I'm doing good, I know what meat does, so I don't want to go back. Yeah, exactly. And that was my energy, that like at first I thought this was going to be a trial thing. I was just like, let me see, it'll be like a couple months, maybe a year, I'll get my body right, like let me make sure that everything is all right, like something has to be off. I asked the Most High in the beginning, he gave me the answer, it's to go plant-based. I thought vegan at the time. And so I was sitting there and I was feeling better, and I was like, okay, started to see how this changed, see that I'm plant-based and I'm not vegan necessarily. And then I realized that like I will never go back to the eating the way that I was. From the education that I got and like educating myself in 2020 when we were locked down and starting to learn those things, but then also incorporating it and establishing the lifestyle, I realized that like all of my life I was imbalanced and unhappy with the healthy lifestyle that I was living, the habits that I had. As active as I was, I still wasn't being able to take care of my body. Calorie counting was something I never wanted to have to do and encounter again. And so once I went plant-based, I didn't have to do any of that. I saw how easy it truly was to take care of my body without having to do this diet culture and these facades and all these different things that people do. Because that's what I tell everybody that comes to me that's like either establishing the lifestyle or trying to learn about it. This is not a diet. Diets are momentary. You do diets for a month or two, maybe 3 to 6 months or however long, and then you quit and you go back to the old habits. But when you go plant-based, when you go vegan, there's some people that call it vegan, but I say plant-based because they're different in my brain because I don't eat vegan products. You establish a whole different lifestyle, a whole different habit mindset around healthiness and understanding how your body functions and learning how truly they have misled you when it comes to how to take care of your body. And they teach you to manage for the rest of your life with prescriptions, with surgeries. They teach you to do all these different momentary things that are going to lead you down the same path of being unhealthy. Thank you for the follow. And so we don't realize the fact that what brings change in us is getting out of the programming. Reset. Because if you are going to be in the same process that everybody else is currently doing right now, you're never going to be healthy and healing. Because we see how society is, we see the statistics, we see where they're going, and you see how that nobody has made any changes, and so everybody's doing the same thing, and how our health is declining. It's getting worse. It's affecting people younger and younger. They're literally now seeing more children than ever in statistics. Children that are insulin resistant. Teens with diabetes. Young adults are about to start surpassing, and teens, adults. Teens and young adults are going to surpass the adults on the scale of being diabetic and insulin resistant. That is a problem. And instead of the people that are above us that are supposed to be helping us seeing that as an issue, they see it as a profit margin. And I say this because it makes me so mad, and I will keep saying it because people are not realizing there's an agenda. There's an agenda against us. That's the reason why they literally have on here the 2030 agenda, that they are projecting by 2030 to make $1 trillion profit off of people being obese and diabetic, which are two things that are preventable, two things that can be fixed. And instead of them seeing it as a national crisis, something that we have to diminish, we have to get rid of, that we have to fix because the teens and young adults are being affected, and it's leading to the children as well, they see it as a profit margin. They see it as something, well, it is what it is as long as we hit that $1 trillion market to profiting market. I think that's, I said it backwards. And I was trying not to let the tears come to my eyes because it makes me want to cry. Just thinking about, we're raising more than what we already have in this world. We're raising more generations of kids not knowing how to take care of their body, being unhealthy, being raised in a light. And I think I had an email come out this week. If not, it'll be next week, that is talking, because I was doing my research like I do and looking into it, talking about how they are now promoting more than ever surgeries for teens that are overweight. Thank you for the follow. Weight loss surgery for teens. I think they're recommending it for teens as young as 14, all the way up to, I think, 16. I don't know for sure. Either which way, I feel like it was the 14 to 17 margin. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like reading the article. I'm reading the thing that they're talking about, like them promoting it and pushing it and why they're doing it. And I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking, like, these babies aren't fully developed, because even though they're teens, they're still babies. Like, really sit there and think about it. When you were a teen, yes, you thought you knew everything. Yes, you were out here feeling like you were grown, but you were still a baby. You didn't know anything. Because even when you hit your 20s and you were actually, like, you know, out on your own, maybe you went to college or whatever else, you still felt like a deer in headlights. So can you only imagine being 14 years old thinking, I'm overweight, everybody's making fun of my weight, I'm getting talked about, I know, let me go get a weight loss surgery? You go get a weight loss surgery. And the side effects of this surgery can stem down from you just having issues with your gut balance now, all the way to you developing some type of chronic disease. So can you only imagine either getting a weight loss surgery and not at 14 years old, not realizing that, oh, now I'm going to have to deal with IBS for the rest of my life, and probably still getting the weight back, because that's also a side effect, that you can still gain the weight back. And then on top of that, the fat pockets itself in other places because you had surgery, let's say in your stomach, to no longer gain all the weight in the stomach, but it pockets itself in other places on your body. So can you only imagine that undeveloped 14-year-old who hasn't even gone fully through puberty, who also hasn't gone through their 20s of going through the second part of puberty, goes through both of those, and now they're sitting there with fat pockets in their face, in their arms, in their legs, and it's causing damage to their arteries, to their blood flow, because there's nowhere else for the fat to go. And it hurts my soul to think about that these people are really out here, these doctors, these people who are supposed to be helping, and these people are so heavily reliant on them, sitting here telling kids just because they're overweight that they have to do this, that they should do this surgery that could literally take their life. Because at the end of the day, even though it doesn't say in the side effects that, oh, they can die from this, really sit there and break that down. If you don't have anywhere for the fat to go, because when you're overweight, it's the same concept. When the fat goes to so many places, it has nowhere else to go, it starts to store on your vital organs. Because that's the reason why it starts to store in your arms, in your face, in your lower stomach, because there's not really any vital organs. Your lower stomach is the sign for you to say, hey, this is going to affect your reproductive, but you'll still be okay. But when it starts to develop around your heart, your liver, you get fatty liver, you get heart disease, it clogs arteries. So can you only imagine that 14-year-old hitting 20 and they're having to have a heart surgery? And I'm trying not to cry, but it's just like, it's just like, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to think that, like, these people go through these programs all of their life, not all of their life, but for their grown life, they go through this program, this supposed to be college, supposed to be something that's supposed to help, because that's what they all say is like, I'm a giver, I'm a caretaker, I love to help people. That's what when you people go into nursing and doctor and all this different stuff, that's their main drive. You hear what they say, but they never sit there and talk about how detrimental it is following what they tell you to do. It's truly ridiculous. All they want from you is money. That's all they want. And the fact that the money overrides a child's life and a child's health is truly insane to me. Because when you're an adult, you do what you do. Go get you a BBL. Go get you a some kind of weight loss surgery. Do whatever. You're an adult. If you choose to do that and you did no research on it and you truly feel like that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. But if a little 14, 17, whatever year old is coming to you and is a teenager and they're telling you like, I'm unhappy with everything, and your solution to them is wait 6 months, say that you've been doing something to take care of your health, focus on losing weight, and then go get a surgery in 6 months, because that's what they say. They say you have to wait 6 months before you can actually have it to see that you're actually trying to lose weight. It's insanity. It's insanity. It's truly insanity. They do. And it's sad to say that they want to keep you as a patient, but they want to keep you so bad that they don't even care if you unalive before you're 20 or you're 25 or you hit 30 or 40 or 50. They don't care. They don't care if you haven't lived your whole life. They don't care if you haven't gone through puberty, because it's the fact that they're going to sit there and recommend a child to get a surgery for weight loss. When children, and I can say this because I worked with kids for over 5 years, children aren't as active as they used to be, and they don't even know how to be because nobody's teaching them, because their parents aren't even as active. Even though they were the active generation, their parents don't even know how to teach them how to be active, because as soon as a child starts getting on their nerves, what do? Go sit down, go watch TV, go get an iPad, go do this. They don't take them anywhere. They don't teach them how to go do anything out in the real world to actually be active, to tell them, hey, let's go on a walk for a little bit. Let's go enjoy outside. If somebody tells them to go on a walk, they're looking at you like, what am I going on a walk for? Well, you have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks for coming through. And so I end all of this to say, because we are going to end live very, very soon, because like I said, like that truly, I didn't know if I was going to talk about it on live, but it did come up because of the topic and everything else, and it's truly just hurting my soul the way that the more research I do, and even though ignorance is not bliss, it's like I love to have the information, but I hate the fact that it hurts me the way that it does to see the way that these people are treating us, because we are people. We deserve to know how to take care of our body. Our children deserve to know how to take care of our body, and we don't. And we're too busy sitting here being misled by these people that want to satisfy their wallets, that they don't even see that as a national crisis, that we're going to sit here and be a generation after generation of people being obese and diabetic. And so if you have any questions, drop them down below. I'll take all the questions that you have. And if you are not aware, I do have a 12-week program that you can join. The link is in my bio, that will support you if you are ready to go plant-based and you need accountability, you need support, you need structure, and you want something that will be the simplest way for you to walk into the lifestyle so that you don't feel uneasy and you don't feel lost. That program is linked in my bio, as well as my plant-based cookbook that will allow you to not only show others and yourself how easy it is to make plant-based meals, but to get started today. And that right there, you can get all of the products and services that I have with Klarna, Affirm, Afterpay, but it's only $25 for you to start making plant-based meals, learn how easy it can be, and to start your journey of actually knowing how to take care of your body and being healthy. I am coming out with the diabetes cookbook very, very soon. I'm really trying to get it out before the end of the year, but I want to make sure that like I cover all the bases. And the same thing with that beginner guide cookbook. It took me not too long, but it took me quite a while to make sure that I was covering all of my bases, to make sure that like it's feeding everything that a beginner would need and feeding exactly what I would have needed in the beginning. And I can tell you that all of those meals that I have in there, I still cook to this day, because they got me to the space of being comfortable, and they help me prep. They help me simply make sure that I'm covering all of my bases, so I'm not sitting here confused at the end of the day. So I'm not sitting here feeling like I don't know what to do and I have nothing to eat and I'm suffering, because a lot of people feel that way now currently. I never go a day where I'm sitting here like, oh, there's nothing for me to eat. I can't, I won't, like, I'm tired of eating chicken. I'm tired of eating burgers, like all this stuff. But instead I sit here and I think, how can I make this meal in the simplest way? Now I might not want to cook it, but I know I have cravings that can be fed in different ways. So if you have any questions, please drop them down in the comments and I'll answer all your questions. But if you are ready to get started and ready to amplify your journey, if you have any questions whatsoever that you don't want to ask right here, right now, or if you have any questions about any products or services that I have, or you need support, my DMs are always open. You can always DM me here on TikTok, on Instagram. My YouTube has all of my past lives. And if you are watching this later on YouTube, you can always DM me on my Instagram, my Facebook too. Whichever social media that you follow me on, make sure you follow me on other socials if you are here on TikTok, just in case they do take it away from us in January. But drop your questions down before I get off. If you are on my email list, I hope that you enjoyed this Wednesday's email, because I'm pretty sure that's the topic that we talked about, was the weight loss surgeries for teens. I have to go back and check to make sure it's not next week, but if it is next week, I feel like we're going to talk about this topic again when I'm less emotional, but we will talk about this topic again because it's detrimental. Like, it's just awful to think about. But at the end of the day, like I said, when you're an adult, it's different than a teen. When you're an adult, it's different because you're an adult, you're choosing. But when a teen is telling you that they want a surgery and they're unhappy with their body, they're unhappy with the way their life is, you have to realize that that's deeper. That's mentally taxing, because that same child that was overweight before the surgery is going to come out of the surgery feeling the same way. And so at the end of the day, it's not going to help them mentally at all. It's not going to help them eat better. It's not going to help them make conscious choices. It's not going to help them change the way that their habits that they have and the ways that they have. And so that's what we have to do. We have to start making small changes so that we can establish the journey that we are on. Because the way that we are going and the way that we are taught is programmed us to believe in diet culture. And diet culture does nothing but throw your body's balance off. It does not support you. And so I'm not seeing any questions, so I guess I am going to hop off. Like I said, if you have any questions or if you didn't feel comfortable dropping down in the comments and you didn't want to necessarily share in front of everybody, you can always DM me. I hope you have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. And I'm so sorry, I did not mean to get all in my feelings today, but it hit home with the topic. And like I said, it just went along with it and it sparked the conversation. And so I will be live again tomorrow. Hopefully I'm going to try, and if not, we'll be live again Sunday, because today is Thursday, right? Yep, today is Thursday. The week has flown by. But if you're not on my email list, get on my email list so you know when I go live. You also get our Wellness Wednesday information. I do call it Wellness Women Wednesday just because we have majority of women in our email list, but we still do have men there as well. So I hope that you all have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. I hope that if you have not followed me, go ahead and follow me. And I hope that you just felt this live's impact just like I have, because truly I do enjoy going live for you guys and talking with you and discussing. So come back next time, and peace.